Hey, everybody, welcome to the Good for Business podcast. I'm here with my close personal friends, Max and Toby, who you can tell that we're close personal friends because they didn't say their last names, but they are the formidable forming members of the former band known as Still Here, Max and Hartleroad, correct? Hartleroad. Yep, world famous. We met it when they played a fundraiser at Zachary's, and I was looking for podcast guests, and Zach said y'all were the rockinest folks in town.
Oh, nice.
So tell me a little about the origin story of each of you. Did y'all grow up here? Y'all have muted accents that don't exactly sound like Columbus accents. So tell me a story.
Well, we did grow up here.
Okay.
City school boys, for the most part. We actually graduate from Heritage. And we're brothers, Max and I, and then our cousin, Miles. He was actually born here but was raised in Memphis. He's our bass player. And then we have a guy from Birmingham now, Tyler Carter, is our guitar player. We met him. He was born and raised in Tuscaloosa, so we met him late high school, and we've all been playing together ever since, basically.
Okay. Where was y'all's first gig in town?
Good question. Bar-wise, it would have been The Loft.
The Loft,
yes.
yes.
At Rubens?
Yes.
Or the former?
Yes. And that would
it's
have
about
been
2007.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
February,
wow. Okay.
maybe.
Yeah,
long time,
2007.
Yeah.
What was I can't remember the guy's name. He was a good dude.
yeah. Fred,
I would never know his last name. I've never seen him since, but he was nice to us because we were children. I mean, I was 17, so Max would have been 13 or 14. And we played up there, and they were really sweet to us. We didn't really know what we were doing. Mm-hmm. We had just we've been playing in the garage, classic. Let's play bars, let's play out. And but they were good to us, really sweet. It was crazy being kids in that environment. But they were good to us. They, I wouldn't say they watched over us, super close, but we were good. It was a good, healthy environment.
Well, I'm glad y'all were out there because there's been waves of music scenes in the Golden Triangle.
For sure.
I think we're coming out of a bad one and getting in a good one with Munson Brothers starting to do stuff. And
Right.
Zachary's is starting to contemplate doing it. And let some people play at the tavern, and I know, soloists can play at Huck's and stuff. But back then you had 4 or 5 places.
Oh, yeah.
Because I stumbled in here after Katrina in 2005.
Okay.
Was really only here in 2005 and I guess all of 2006 and a little at the beginning of 7. So Lance Cooper and all the Justin, all the guys from AM/FM. It wasn't peak AM/FM. I know they played a little
right before that.
That was pretty cool because
there was stuff going on.
Yeah.
Zachary's Princess.
Zachary's the Princess. The underneath there's one of the Huck's had a basement.
Huck's, that was cool. Huck's wasn't there.
No, it would have been Market
else.
Street Grill at one point.
That's a cool spot.
Yeah, but it was down there in the basement.
Yeah,
I still have dents in my head.
Because
I was a puppy back then, 2005. So I wasn't even 30 then, and I came here and I used to Wade and Will Leonard. They weren't playing that much music, but they were musicians.
Right.
Will worked at
he worked at the Loft when we were first playing. Yeah, I mean, and all those people were, I wouldn't say a whole generation above us, but you know what I'm saying? They were kind of the older kids for sure for us. I was younger than even them, so fond memories, and it's good to see some of those boys still playing. I know Lance just played the Tavern. I saw him a couple months ago at the Tavern. I think the Right Moves played Munson recently.
Well, this time they were called the Moves.
Right.
I saw that. I was like,
well, is John Wright not in the band? See, I'm not sure of what it. Well,
I don't go out at night much. I was like, I'll go out at night for the Right Moves, for the Moves.
But for the Moves,
and I was at the last version of the AM/FM before Brian left town. So.
Okay.
Brian. I mean, honestly, after we played at the Loft, the next bar we would have played. We played like 2 or 3 times at the Loft, and then we moved to the Princess, basically, as kids. Brian Roberts booked all those shows, all those early Princess gigs for us. And he was really good to us too. And we've seen him. It's been a few years now, but I mean, since he's moved to Austin.
Yeah, I bump into him on social media, and of course he went out there. He didn't tune in and drop out, but he did drop like 50 pounds. He went out there and he looks. He just looks like a poster. He looks like he should be on a poster.
Well, Austin is a different place than Columbus. It's a different world out there, man.
I like that when people do something unreasonable. What Ryan Munson has done is completely unreasonable. Like he was a freaking stockbroker, and he's like, I'm going to open up a beard wax and candle store, and he's like, you know what, we're gonna have beer, you know what, we're gonna have pizza, we're gonna have live music, and it just on paper you'd be like, don't do this, like this makes no sense, and thriving.
Oh yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure, for sure.
And like I said, he's invested in live music long enough that he created his own scene. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Self-sufficient thing, and the Air Force folks go there. And y'all know Alan Aldridge?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Porch
Oh,
Fest
yeah,
and
yeah,
podcast.
yeah. Oh yeah, much respect for all that
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's done really well. But I mean, I swear, there's always been a hunger in Columbus for the arts. And even if it's not being publicly displayed in any commercial venue or whatever, I swear, like there's always. Whether kids being playing in houses or just anything, like even art stuff going on at the W, those gallery shows they do. Sometimes they do some really cool stuff.
It's a river town, and
Yeah,
the 20 years I've been here, I've seen it grow, especially the last 5 years. I think part of that is a lot of transplants are staying from the base because it seems nicer now.
Yeah,
all the people from the factory are just demanding it. The Golden Triangle Theater's rolling.
Yeah,
Right.
for
I've
sure.
done a couple shows with them, and just all that stuff like feeds on itself. Like
For
you
sure.
know, some
no
kid who
doubt.
gets exposed to theater, and then Golden Triangle Theater's doing a great job of getting integrated with the public schools and
Yeah,
getting those
Right,
kids
which
into
is
stuff.
important.
So
Yeah,
I met a kid who did a play with me or musical with me, Hairspray, and she's going to Southern Miss, and she came from one of the public school thing 4 years ago, and had never been in a show, and she is going on a scholarship to there for theater for to Southern Miss.
Dude, that's
Much
really
respect.
cool.
Oh,
Went
yeah.
from,
Southern
like-
Miss has a great
went from having like no awareness of the arts of theater
Right.
to having a theater like a partial scholarship to go to Southern like
That's awesome. That is-
because somebody went into her school and said, "Come do this little Frozen camp or whatever
Yeah,
they're doing."
Which is awesome. Yeah.
I mean, Garrett is a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a smart mind, but he's done a lot. I remember when he had first come back to town or came to town. I think he went to school at Mississippi State.
Yeah, and he's been teaching at State. Yeah.
Right. But see, I was, I mean, I'm a longtime Catholic at this point, so I remember when he first started like playing music at the Catholic church, and even just the other day, Max got married, and of course it was Garrett accompanying, on all. I mean,
It was
so
awesome.
much respect. It's so cool to see all that stuff thrive.
Again, talking about unreasonable, like what he's talking about. Every time I talk to him, like that's not going to make.
Oh
it.
yeah,
No,
he,
for
he
real.
really
He's done
puts
a
in
lot
the
for
work.
theater. Seriously, I mean,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
theater
yeah,
was
yeah.
it was dead in Columbus.
Yeah,
before
yeah,
then.
really.
Well, their
It
thing
was
now he's
good.
doing is like, I mean, we got 4 kid shows, like 2 high school, 2 juniors, then 5 adult shows in 1 year.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And they're done, and they
Right,
take
right.
3 months off. So I'm like, for the adults, I'm like,
Right.
so now there's like 5 shows. He's like, "What are you trying out for?" I'm like, "I want to do all of them." Like,
Yeah.
I just can't commit to the 27, 30 rehearsals for
Oh, yeah.
5 shows.
Right.
But
That's a lot.
I don't know. I'm getting used to it. I turned into a theater kid at 50. I had never done anything
That's
before.
rough.
so-
Well, you
Yeah,
did
that's
Hairspray.
good.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that was
John
right.
Waters, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
no,
a
that
big
was
one.
that was tough for me with like I was ready and I knew I was doing the role and stuff, and then like the Monday of Tech Week, the final week, like first time I went on stage and like in a wig, makeup, and a dress all at once, and I flubbed all my lines.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "This is horrible." And
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
I'm on TV every Tuesday, and so like I called them. I'm like, "I'm coming." They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I'm gonna come in character, in dress."
Yeah,
To get it- to get it-
to get used to it, right?
Because like it's one thing performing at the theater, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you're like redneck country friends see you, then
Exactly.
Right.
you'd be
There
okay.
could be
That's what
some
happened to my
questions,
last
right?
show, like Crossroads Ministries, which are they're my boys, but a bunch of neck tattoos guys in recovery. They came to like clean up after our last show.
Oh, cool.
And then like they walk in the finale, and I'm like, ah, and they're like,
Yeah,
I see them in the back of there going, is that Colin?
Yeah.
They're like, what the heck did we miss? And so I don't know if I'll shave my legs and dance again. But
Right.
we shall see. We shall see. So how long y'all been playing since 2007? Y'all are still
Oh, yeah,
puppies.
we've been
younger
2004,
than that. Yeah, I'd say
5.
2004 or 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
we
in
got a
the
guitar
garage.
for Christmas, and eventually we all 3 play guitar. I mean, me, Max, and Miles, and then eventually just started getting broken up. Right? Okay, someone has to play drums, someone has to play bass, and I stuck with the guitar. I'm
Right.
kind of the least talented of the group, but
Aren't you supposed to play bass?
Yeah.
No.
No, we put the most talent on
Yeah,
bass,
the
to be
most
honest.
talented actually
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
bass. But yeah, so that's about 05. But I mean, it always changes. It always feels new. It's a new year.
Do y'all have grown-up jobs? That's always my question when I talk to creatives.
Both
You know what I
public
mean?
educators.
Okay.
Both. I teach over in Amory. I teach ESL, K through 12. Blessed. It's a great day to be a Panther in general. Like it's a great school system, and
I teach at Partnership Middle School in Starkville. I
Yeah,
teach
yeah.
ESL as well.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Just great opportunity. Just amazing. Love
Well,
it.
now they're trying to do the high school
Oh,
over
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
If everybody will write the check. but
Right,
it's,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah.
It's a bad year to ask for money for it. 'Cause
True.
The taxes in Starkville are about to go up, I think, 18 to 20% on their own, besides besides the school tax. But all the school's doing is spending the money that they've been spending on the last one, which is
Right. Okay.
So technically, taxes are just not going down. Then they're going to go up and go up.
Interesting.
It's pretty scary, but it's a
okay.
pioneering idea that they do,
yeah,
and I
for
think
sure.
the middle school. I mean, there's been some stretching and testing because you're taking some of the poorest kids in the state of Mississippi.
right.
If you're talking about East Octobaha, and
Right.
some of them throwing them in with the most privileged kids in the
Exactly.
world. But
Right.
I think it's a good thing.
I think them consolidating the district was brilliant for that.
Yeah,
like that's and I would be pro consolidating Lowndes County as well.
We're going to
I'm
see
very
more. There'll be
pro.
a lot more fight over here than
there
there was,
will
just
be.
because you have more of a liberal leadership with the school and stuff.
Right,
and
right,
where everything's going to be fine. And here it would be tough. I saw the plans in 2010. They threatened to do it, and the plan was basically to do what you think would be a plan, is if you asked fancy folks what to do, and it's like, we're going to go straight up Military Road, and everybody on this side, in one school district, everybody on that side in another, or it'd be the same district but different actual three schools. And I'm like, oh yeah, y'all took a lot of thought on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I do feel that.
The way it works at Starkville is, it really is great, and they just have great resources, and it is really interesting because you get all these university kids and really from all around the world, and they're going to school with
teaching with you.
And it's just fascinating, and seeing how the student population interacts is really interesting, and they all rise with each other.
It was funny because I have two kids. I'm a big advocate of MSMS, and I either think it should be here or in the middle of a grass field in Madison. I didn't like the cramming it into the Starkville because I thought the partnership was its own thing. And I thought it simultaneously both diminished the partnership idea and MSMS.
I totally agree with you.
Sadly, there's a lot of just anti-W sentiments.
Been
around for long before me. I hate that, but that's what.
Yeah, somebody probably should have stood up strong in the early '80s and changed the name, and now it seems too far. Now, by the way, I just got on the MEW Foundation board, and I'm trying to get on the MSMS one because I don't want to be here in 5 years and have completely lost both of them. So,
totally.
We're both
we're
W
W.
alums, still continuing education.
love it.
W. I mean, I'm as prideful for the W as I can be,
for sure.
It's I just feel like there's so much at the state level that hurts it, but I think that's almost a larger just sentiment about Columbus. Maybe there's a lot of just anti-Columbus sentiments.
Yeah, I think part of that problem, I don't know if y'all know, but I had from April 2010 to May of 2014, I ran the packet. So I was chasing criminals and taking pictures, and I saw the worst Columbus had to offer, and I came out and I'm like, I'm staying. And what I realized then, and I looked into it a bunch, I'm like, all right, so we're the 13th largest city in Mississippi on average. Now, over the last 20 years, we average having between the 11th and the 13th crime rate. But what we do have is the largest weekly paper that focuses on crime, the third largest TV station, and the fourth largest daily paper. And so everything that happens here gets out. 2 years in a row, Starkville had more. 2 years in a row, Octobaha County, Starkville had more murders than we did. And I'm like, but you don't think of it.
That's interesting.
Like you hear about it, but it's and I always tell people, I'm like, said I missed the last time that a kid got gunned down in the Cotton District, and there was a shootout at Walmart where two people got killed, and they're like, that's Columbus. I'm like, no, that happened in Starkville 5 years ago. And they're like, oh, well, that was that dentist that went mad. I'm like, a pharmacist that went. I'm like, yeah, because, and I said this, I didn't know this, but you're white, so you sympathize, you look for the story.
Right, exactly.
Otherwise, it's just some thug.
Absolutely.
And so when I said that thug that got shot in the Cotton District, they're like, what do you mean it was I'm like, it was a white kid.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know that white kid had a felony arrest for distribution before, but he wasn't. He was just some college kid.
Oh, yeah.
But he had been pinched before. Like, he was selling drugs. Not the most recent one. But I was like, but you didn't refer to him as a thug.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I'm going to bash Starkville because I was about to ask y'all ever
I'm pro Star.
I'm pro Star.
But I do think we get a short end of the stick. But West Point sadly kind of gets shit on a little bit too. And I'm very pro West Point. West Point has some incredible businesses. Like
great
Anthony.
West Point just can't defend themselves. They have no newspaper to show.
For real. No, that's exactly right.
But I'd rather have three media outlets in here than none.
True.
There's plenty of cities our size that have nothing. And nobody, if the dispatch wasn't going to council meetings, nobody would be there.
So for sure.
I'm glad they are.
You went to the closing of the Dispatch Press, right? Were you there?
Yes. were like
Yeah,
filming or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
That
was cool. That was
so
fun.
cool. That's history.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
you know,
it's
that's
fascinating, man.
No,
Yeah.
I had the best comment from my buddy who used to be an editor for the Times-Picayune in New Orleans, which got bought out. Now he's like a research attorney again. Like he quit being an attorney to help run the newspaper, and he's like, "That's the definition of new media." I took a picture and just edited the black and white while we were there.
Yeah,
And it had like 200 likes and 100 shares.
Yeah.
And then he took a screenshot of that and then posted their post the next day that had like 30 likes and 20. And he's like, "That's the problem right there."
Oh yeah.
It's
for
like
sure,
the
for sure.
speed. Like
Oh, yeah.
I'm often at council meetings and something happens and I'm like, like that, and I don't get any money from it, but like that was the breaking news. That was your chance.
Right.
You know?
Oh yeah,
Like,
for sure.
and they haven't pivoted on everything, but they do. And I'm glad they're here.
Yeah. No doubt.
And CBI's probably stretched pretty thin, but they're
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
you know, now that they're following, like they're starving for news because they don't have like. They used to have a whole staff back there in the newsroom. Now it's pretty much just reporters. So like, I only send them good stuff all the time.
Interesting.
So they're covering more good news.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
positive,
that's
man.
actually
yeah.
cool.
We need
That's
positive
interesting.
media
Yeah, no
representation.
doubt.
like
Yeah.
just in Columbus.
Do y'all get to play in Starkville much or?
All the
Yeah,
time.
we play. Startful DIY is just arts entity, I guess. They organize events over there, and they've been really good to us. We've been playing with events they've booked since 22.
Probably.
Yeah.
Post pandemic.
And yeah, they do a lot of good stuff over there, and they've kept it going for a couple years now. Which in university towns it's kind of hard even to keep it past 2 years because people get settled 2 years and then they're gone in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So they've done a really good job. All the kids over there. We play at Dave's often too. Love Dave's.
The staple.
That's,
So that's the best bar in the Golden
Oh
Triangle.
yeah. I just love
No,
that
it's
shit.
good that they have there in Rick's to at least have local
Oh,
music.
yeah, for sure.
Because they both wing in some pretty decent acts. And
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
every
for sure.
once in a while.
Yeah,
I'm a little
touring
disappointed when I
acts.
first got here in like 2005 and 6. Like Mississippi State would wrangle in some pretty decent like
Oh yeah.
touring country music. And
Yeah.
the school itself seems to have kind of given up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do
Well,
stuff for
got-
Super Bulldog weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
They
That's
got
good.
Zach Bryan here.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that
I'm
was
not
big.
too hip
That was
on
pretty.
mine.
Yeah,
that was big.
Well, he's a
but
showman
that-
though.
I
Yeah,
would've
yeah,
sold
yeah.
I went to his show. He played at the Superdome in New Orleans.
Oh,
Like
wow.
2 nights before a Saints game. So my daughter wanted to go to look at colleges in Louisiana. I'm like, we'll go do this. I'll surprise her on the way down.
That's cool.
And I said, guess who's closing for Jason Isbell? And she's like, who? I'm like, Zach Bryan.
that's
and then Zach
funny,
Bryan went on
okay.
stage and he's like, I have no idea why Jason Isbell's opening for me.
That is
And I
hilarious.
was
Okay,
like-
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, it was
at
pretty
the Superdome.
At the Superdome. So Jason Isbell said it was the biggest show he ever
Oh
played.
yeah, I mean,
And, but
Yeah.
he killed. But
Yeah.
Zach Bryan, to his credit, I only knew like 4 of his songs. He killed it.
oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And there wasn't really that much production behind it.
Right,
Like there were
right.
screens behind him, but he wasn't Taylor Swifting it up.
Right.
He was doing same thing. The other person I was impressed with, who is maybe even worse on the scale, is Lana Del Rey played down at the Brandon Amphitheater.
Right. I remember that.
And we went to that, and I knew somebody down there, so I got my daughter's pit tickets, and I was a
Nice.
hero to them and their friends.
yeah, I'm sure.
And listening to the music on the way down, I'm like, I'm going down.
Yeah,
and then I
that's
got there, and when I saw her, I'm like, oh, I get it. Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
saw,
yeah,
I hadn't
yeah,
watched
yeah.
any
Right,
I hadn't
right,
watched her videos. You know,
Right,
and I was
right,
like,
right.
oh, I get the.
Yeah,
I get what you're doing there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
dealer.
yeah.
Right,
My
right,
favorite
right.
part of that, my daughters will kill me for repeating this story yet again. So it was like me and like 3 other dads at the pit, the floor.
yeah.
Like everybody else was just the girls, and people were sitting down. We're just
Right.
standing up talking or whatever. And I said, we're leaving the whole ride home. Like I'm telling you, she was constantly looking at me. She was checking. I was
That
like,
is
she likes an
hilarious.
old man in a hat.
Yeah.
Then like 6 weeks later, she married a damn
Right,
shrimp
right,
bait captain,
right,
a bayou
right.
guy.
Yeah,
And I'm like- I'm
I
like-
knew about that.
I was like, Your
Yeah,
Honor. I was like,
That
I was
is
like, she married
hilarious.
some dude. Like, I'm wearing a t-shirt
Yeah,
and jeans. He's wearing a t-shirt. And I'm like, maybe I was on to something.
Yeah.
She's got that everyman quality. She must like that everyman.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those ones where I just feel like she's gonna break his heart or something.
Yeah.
It just it makes it's too it's not hipster, but it's just too.
It is.
Oh
pretty
yeah.
It's too convenient that she's
No,
marrying
no,
some
no,
Kuyan
no,
guy
yeah,
from the
yeah.
parish.
Yeah.
Like, but whatever. I thought it was just so funny to me that I was.
That is hilarious.
I'm like, I told you I could have had my chance with her. So, what's the furthest you ever gotten to go for a show?
I guess like Bellingham, Washington, Olympia.
Yeah, we've toured the
Los
whole United
Angeles,
States multiple
Boston.
times.
Yeah,
That's
so we've
awesome.
gone coast to coast.
Wait,
So are
like-
y'all doing like so? I'm friends with Jamie Nettles who does Sunstroke House, and then the people that do the what are the other concerts? The Barn.
The Barn,
concerts,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, those are, when I got here, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Of course, the barn
yeah.
isn't around as long as Sunspring.
Right.
But that's what I always call NPR level bands.
Yes.
Yeah,
And they stumble into some pretty cool shit.
yeah,
Plus, you
yeah,
see
yeah.
people on the way up sometimes that you have no idea.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Especially like South by and stuff. They catch people going to and from that. And then the Americana Music Awards for Nashville, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we grew up with Jamie's kids, and she's always been real good supporter
always
of
been
us
to
and
Jamie
stuff.
Nettles' house. Like we were all
we were there all the
Gibson
time.
Nettles was my best friend.
Well, we're trying to sell her house now. She bought another house down. She bought a big one by the river,
Right.
which will be very impressive for shows.
Yeah,
Right,
sure, that'd
yeah.
be really cool.
Because she's got a couple huge rooms in there, and I'm like, and her porch.
Okay.
I'm like, man,
Yeah,
you
so
gotta-
we have-
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that
we'll
sounds
get the
really
neighbors
cool.
adjusted to the.
Yeah, exactly.
She's not that loud with the stuff inside.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Like again, it's folk music and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
So, where y'all? What's the next? Do y'all have any shows booked now for July?
We
or
do
August?
have a Memphis.
Oh yeah, we have a
show
Memphis
in
show, and then
July.
we're playing Jackson next week, next
right.
Monday.
Okay, next Monday we are.
And then we have a
playing
Memphis
Jackson.
show in July, and then we are playing in Water Valley in
Valley,
August.
Yeah. This summer mainly, I mean, we try to do, because, obviously we're out for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is our only time where we can kind of extensively tour. So we normally do something, but this year Max getting married, just a lot of things coming up, obviously like personal lives get in the way and stuff, which is positive. But so we're just recording this summer, really just finishing projects, like getting stuff ready to release, like trying to be productive,
You all putting stuff out like on SoundCloud and all, or
Well,
yeah.
we have a record label.
Yeah, we put
We're
out
on-
LPs and stuff. We're on K Records. It's from Olympia, Washington.
Really good, like they're
yeah.
really good to us. So,
Yeah, they're really
put
nice,
out our
yeah.
records and like
Help
get
us
us,
out.
help us tour the West
Tour,
Coast.
yeah.
Be like, hey, we'll set you up, and
Yeah.
and that it's really cool, like playing for people who respect you and respect, they come down to Columbus. I mean, we've had like our record label head Calvin. They have a record in there by Calvin where we backed him. I mean, he came down. He's from Olympia, Washington. Knew all the heavy hitters. I mean, a famous DIY musician. I mean, from Olympia, and obviously like knew Kurt Cobain, knew Courtney Love, like all that stuff. And he came to Mississippi for like a couple weeks and recorded a record with us, and it was awesome. I mean, just stuff like that. And then he booked us. He booked our whole first West Coast tour, and we were in the van with him. Like we met him in
Los Angeles.
We're
Or
outside-
Claremont.
Claremont.
Pomona?
Yeah,
Claremont.
at the Pomona College.
Yeah.
And we met him. Like we toured ourselves through there, met him, and then went all the way up to Pacific Coast Highway 1 to Olympia, Washington, like playing like San Luis Obispo or Santa Rosa or just rando California towns. Beautiful. Because you look out, you see the ocean, and you look, and it's like the redwood forest or the mountains. That stuff blew our minds.
Yeah, it was
And
incredible.
we love being on the road.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Seeing that stuff.
well, it's amazing how like you can just meet one person at one
for
place.
Sure.
So do y'all know
doubt.
Braden Sansing who did
I know.
Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Braden was doing the podcast and stuff, and we have this Michael Francesi, who's this mafia guy turned preacher guy,
Okay.
or
Yeah. Okay.
born
okay.
again dude. And he did this big event there, and we had just started the podcast. This was last August, and so like I was helping the event. I said I'll help in marketing, but I said I'm gonna try to get him as a podcast guest. And like, well, we don't know. I'm like, you don't need to do anything. If I can convince him. So I asked his handler. He's like, no, he's got millions of followers. He's not gonna do it. We pick him up from the airport and talk, and after like 30 minutes, he's like, man, if you're ready, I'll give you 20 minutes. I'm like, it's all I need, 20 minutes. I'm going to try to ask you some questions I've never heard answers for, and I got it. He loved it, and like he got information. We sent him the video, and then like 3 months later, I think in October, because of that, Braden and I were following him, and his daughter had a podcast or whatever. And then his daughter's on YouTube. I'm like, I need somebody to edit stuff, blah, 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 blah. And he jumped on, messaged her, said, hey, I did something with your dad, copied the dad. He's like, yeah, they did this video of this thing in Columbus. So he got to start doing her stuff. And then he comes to us like 2 months ago, and he's like, move to California. I'm like, wow. He's like, he hired me. The guy hired me from a little pit stop in here. And now he's out there recording music with people. And same thing. He's like, goes to a show, volunteers to carry the gig, and then you meet the guy. And then he's all of a sudden he's recording with people who are like writing songs with Sticks and REO Speedwagon and stuff, and I'm like, of all the juke joints in all the world. So you never know who you're going to meet. I was in Austin. I was in there for the opposite reason anybody else goes. I went to a real estate taxation conference, and I was talking to this guy riding in a cab, and he's like, he's like, what I'm doing? He's like, well, I'm trying to be a musician. I'm going to a showcase, and I'm like, I was like, man, we got one of the premier songwriters in the United States for country is from Columbus. Chase McGill's huge. And I was like, I'm good buddies with his dad or whatever. He's like, you know Chase McGill. I'm like, well, I can't give you his dad's number. He's like, Chase is playing in town tonight. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, he may know who I am, but I was like, I can text his dad or whatever. And like, so like, I texted his dad, his mom texted back. His mom and I were doing something together. And she's like, yeah, just tell him to tell him this. And so like, he got to the show, he didn't get free tickets, but he told him that, and the handler, the whatever bouncer guy took him to him. It wasn't that big of a show.
Right.
But like, he's huge as a songwriter.
No doubt.
And he's like, the guy's like, he's my Uber driver, and he's texting me all night. Like, he's like, oh, my fucking God.
That's hilarious.
Because sometimes that is what happens.
No doubt.
You're in a car and somebody's like, yeah, no. It's a cuss word to some people. The other Colin in Columbus, Colin Stowe. But like, sometimes they're like, oh, I know Colin Stowe. You know? I'm like, yeah. I remember when Ryan, they told me he was playing over there, and they're like, hey, he's actually going to be in the finals of American Idol.
Oh, yeah.
And, but they hadn't announced it. You know, like, I'll go see him just in case.
That's hilarious.
That's all. Most people I know, when I saw him in a show that I had, like, I talked to my friends who are like, with ticket stubs from these awesome shows. Like, the best example I have was this was 89 or 88. I went to a Red Hot Chili Peppers show.
Nice.
They were opening for DRI, Dirty Rotten Whistle, which is a skateboard band. But I was going because Dr. John, who's a musician, helped produce their album.
Oh, okay.
And my dad knew some people in common with him, so he's like, well, he says you'd love him.
Okay.
And I went, and then like the opener canceled the day before, and it was Pearl Jam opened in 1990 or 91. Like Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic.
Right.
And like, so like, I knew who the Chili Peppers were.
Right.
Definitely knew who DRI was, but like, I didn't know, nobody knew who Pearl Jam was or remembers. But I have a ticket stub from
That's
6
funny.
months before Alive came out. That like, I was ahead of the game there. And then my buddy Keith down in New Orleans still has a flyer. Green Day played a year before Dookie album came out at a place called the Abstract Cafe in New Orleans, and like 6 of us went.
Oh, wow.
And like, we have a flyer. We only went because it was Thursday night and they were there. We didn't know who they were. Didn't know who they were for a year. And then that comes out, and I'm like, and it blew up, and we're like, we're in high school. We didn't. Nobody bought their tape that night. I wish I'd bought a tape that night of their thing. But I mean, that's the reason they should be going to live music. Because you can see people so far.
Yeah, it's just cool too. It's just good to be around stuff like that. It's good to be around creative energy and stuff.
Yeah, that's why I was talking to our last guy that was in here about that. Like, there's 2 places other than live music. I make sure my kids see a lot, because we don't. That's why they got to go see Lana Del Rey. You may not see somebody this big again.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, no, that is.
And there's 2 places I go. The Air Force Base, because when I go there for like local groups or civic groups, I leave with so much energy. Even though I'm not a big military guy, I'm like, USA when I leave. And then the stuff I'm doing in the theater now, where like I'm around these kids, like people under 30, and they'll leave, and you'll have the worst night ever. They're like, you did great.
Right.
Dang it. I want to do 30 practices with you, because they're all just cheering each other on.
No doubt,
Which you get that with music too. Like, y'all know that. You might play to 4 people, but one of them's just in the zone and just
for sure.
Just loving it. So,
we were always a little, I mean, we've kind of been used to, I don't know, coming from Columbus, like, we're very pro-Columbus, but I mean, we were always kind of oddballs. We only played originals, like, since we started.
Yeah.
And that was an oddball thing.
Yeah,
like everybody else, especially the older kids, they just all, we didn't really have any contemporary. I couldn't even think of a contemporary.
That was our age.
Yeah.
Really.
No, like you said, there was a crop.
Yeah, there's
5, 6 years.
But a lot of them played covers. Yeah, now we like the Hamburger Hobos
they're
and
original.
stuff. They played some doo-wop covers. It was cool, but a lot of anything else, that was like playing out. It was a lot of covers. I mean, they would have a couple originals or something throw it in, but we were always very much into that.
Well, it's almost like a trap, because you play the covers, and then Dave's will book you every Tuesday.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Then you're
right.
You're never going past Dave's.
Yeah.
You're
That's
a cover
just
band.
your cat.
Yeah, and that's always a tough. That's what I like about Ryan's focus on like singer songwriters and stuff.
For
like
sure.
I said, you can.
For sure.
Somebody can go up there on one of the big shows or for Porch Fest or something, sell 10 or 15 CDs or downloads. And it's not a bad night.
No, that's great.
For sure, man. Well, yeah, especially if it's a solo performer. Now it's tough, like making money as a band.
Yeah, on the road.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't imagine exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I would say other cities, other towns, even they pay more than Columbus does for sure. But it's still, we view it as like you're fortunate to like get to see the country, and you do get a little bit, but you're never seeing that really individually. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you're staying, you're paying gas, you're paying food for everybody, etc. It's a great time. You're having great cultural experiences, but Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. I mean, you can get to that level, but you need a booking agent. There's a million
Yeah.
things that come into play at that point. The media, we don't have access to the media. We're in Columbus. I mean, we have WCBI, like you're all mentioning and stuff, but music blogs where you would like make a headway, like a lot of that is so hip, but it's because they're seeing these people often. It's like you're staying socially connected often. It's hard for us to do that outside of social media. But I'm not a big social. I have a flip phone. So
well, Nashville's running into the same problem New Orleans had, still has, which is there's so many people there that are so talented that
for sure.
Like New Orleans.
That's
I used to think that you should crack me up was like, but rock and roll doesn't do phenomenal there. It's jazz and traditional stuff.
Yeah, and traditional music, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool, especially being from here. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty
well, like speaking of like Dr. John, and my dad used to sing for a few places down in bars in New Orleans, and he sang for the Opera Association, and we'd
cool.
So I was always going to shows. It was just me and him, 11 years old, going to these bars, and like. The Neville Brothers or Dr. John would play down there, and it'd be $10 or $20. And this was 1990.
So cool.
Okay.
And then the week later, there'd be the Fox Theater in Atlanta for 5 sold-out shows at $60 tickets.
Yeah,
for sure, man.
Oh
You're
yeah,
like, this guy's
right.
Best example I have is like Kermit Ruffins, who leaves New Orleans 3 months a year to get paid like $15,000-$20,000 a show in Europe and the East Coast. He comes back there, and it's like Sunday barbecue at Kermit Ruffins Bar and Grill, and it's no cover, and you're like, he's got a freaking 5 Grammys.
That's what's so cool about
no.
New Orleans. Yeah, I mean, it's just like history. It's music. I mean, it's just music culture. It's American culture, just there everywhere. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I took 3 semesters of history New Orleans music when I was in college down there, and that was part of. She used to always make it was Connie Atkinson, who used to write for Rolling Stone in the '60s and '70s, and that was her argument. Was like, we got to quit saying we're the birthplace of jazz and say we're the home of American music.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Fats Domino.
Yeah.
We went to his house.
Yeah,
Fats Domino's. Until the day he died, you just go to his house.
Yeah. He died. Did he die around Katrina? I mean, he lived
he lived
a
a long. Because we went to his house with her in like. This would have been 96. And he wasn't like, he's like, hey, Connie, what's up? Like, he barely opened the door, and she introduced us. He could care less. And he's like, I was just working on something. He played piano, and he was cooking something. And just like you see in the documentary. And I'm like, that would just, to me, I was like,
oh, yeah.
And then we went and saw Alan Toussaint like as a class one night.
Classic.
I got a story about that my wife hates when I tell it. But it was in that class, and when she walked in, like he's a professional musician, he started playing Dixie, like a little Dixie riff, because he always thought of her as the girl from Alabama or whatever. And so fast forward, that was 96. I'm dating my wife, and before my wife, I dated a long string of granola girls, like girls who would jazz, playing hacky sax, smoking something. My girl she's a little more lived in New York for a while, a little more sophisticated. So I take her to piano night, which WWZ's jazz station. They have it between the weekends of Jazz Fest. It's at Monday night, and it's Dr. John, Marshall Ball, Alan Toussaint, all the biggest heavy hitters in there, and Alan Toussaint, who died I think right before Katrina. So we're there, and they play a show with a band, like a 3-piece band, and while the stage is coming down, then they come over. Literally, at that point, used to walk through the crowd, and then they'd play a piano, and they'd play like 5 songs, and then Dr. John would come over there and play with the band. Now, Dr. John didn't come play songs, but Alan Toussaint did. So they did like 4 in a row. He's like the 5th guy. He's coming through, and he's like, I was like, I look like my dad. He's like, Bushy, your dad. I'm like, yeah. He's like, how's he doing? I'm like, he's okay. And like, that was cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then I go, hey, it's my girlfriend Desiree. I was like, I took her out here for his birthday. And he's like, Desiree. Puts his hand over her hand, birthday. And I'm like, oh, this motherfucker. She's my life. And sure enough, he plays his song, and at the end, he's like, oh, I just want to give a special shout out to my good friend Desiree. Sing a little happy birthday. And she's just like, oh, is there another Desiree? And I'm like, and like the reason I said the thing about granola girls, like that would have melted every other girl.
Exactly.
Like, I was like, this guy has 35 Grammys.
Oh yeah,
he just sang you happy birthday, like on her. We had been dating a while, but I was just like, and she's like, that was nice. Like I was like,
that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, that's huge to me. Like as a New Orleans guy, and I had met him a few times, and my dad like sort of knew him. I didn't know him, but he recognized. But I looked that much like my dad, I guess. But he didn't do it. He did it because he's a performer.
Oh yeah,
exactly. Who knew that if like you used to get tips if you played Dixieland,
no doubt.
And he's like, when he put his hand over her hand, I'm like, this dude's gonna sing.
Oh yeah, dude.
And he sang Happy Birthday, and she's like, cool. I'm like, oh my god, this is like the biggest and probably arguably the most successful piano player of the 20th century. And I'm like, huh. And I was like, that's it, cool.
That is hilarious.
That's it.
Dude.
I was like, same thing. It would have been like, in anybody's equivalent. Maybe not Taylor Swift, but it's
Yeah,
up
yeah,
there. It's
yeah.
as
Oh,
big
yeah,
as you
yeah,
get
yeah.
if you're in that
yeah,
music.
No doubt.
And I'm like, I'm still starstruck by it. And
Oh yeah,
Right.
I can't
she is
imagine.
now that she realized
Yeah,
how big of a deal
yeah,
it was.
yeah.
But
Right,
it's
right.
like,
I mean, that Jazz Fest, I think that stuff is still cool.
Yeah, yeah, you
I mean,
still see
we
cool.
hadn't been. I've only been Jazz Fest once. We went in 2012 and saw, I guess, the Beach Boys on Friday, Tom Petty on Saturday, and Bruce Springsteen on Sunday.
Jesus.
Which Dr. John joined.
Yeah, he played such a night with Springsteen.
Yeah,
it
that
was
was
incredible.
freaking
Yeah, it was
But I
amazing.
mean, I saw a
obviously.
video on my computer the other day of like the recent Jazz Fest, and it was Herbie Hancock
Yeah,
playing
dude,
with
I bet that was
someone on the
incredible,
guitar,
dude,
and I was
yeah.
like, dude, yeah, this stuff is. I mean, it's still cool.
it's
Like,
got.
it's
I went
just-
to everyone from I guess '88 till Katrina or 2002.
Okay.
Just a couple years before Katrina.
It's gotten a little more. I mean,
Well,
it's-
what happened in like 2001 was Widespread Panic
okay.
and Fish came
Okay.
back to back years,
Okay.
and Widespread Panic had
That
been
makes
before, but
sense,
Fish hadn't been
actually.
before.
Okay.
Okay.
And there were some white kids that just stayed.
Right.
Right.
And it really did change, and it changed. The show got bigger.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Say
yeah.
what you want, but the kids stayed.
Oh, yeah,
and that
yeah,
was
yeah,
part of
sure.
like the gutter punk era and all that.
Right,
So like,
right.
I didn't complain about it. It's kind of
Right,
like
right,
after
right.
Katrina, where they're like, all these people came from New York, and I wasn't there. I was here, but
Right.
I was like, well, they're bringing money.
Yeah.
Like I'm an old school, like
Yeah.
I'm like a carny. I'm like, well, they got money.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of like when people here. I've had a couple people say, "Well, a bunch of people from out of town moved
Right,
in
right,
downtown
right.
Columbus." I'm like, "Well, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, we will take their money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
take it and flourish. Like y'all can say what you want about. I represent them, the development at Parkview at the soccer complex,
Uh-huh.
but a bunch of people with money being next door to Ryan and Munson does nothing bad for music.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like a
exactly,
bunch of because
yeah.
like you
Yeah.
know they're not gonna complain about the music. Like they're gonna
Oh yeah.
they're gonna
yeah,
stroll
I'm sure
down the
that's
street and
gotta
have a
be-
beer and listen to music. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll have to know. That
What's a
that's just
beautiful
part of the
town?
thing.
Columbus is.
Yeah, it's really pretty. The
No,
hills.
it's doing
dude.
good. And if you've been here as long as you have, like, it's hard with usually the native
yeah.
people be like, downtown sucks. I'm like, have you actually gone down here? Like, everything's
Right.
clean. It's
Yeah.
nice. I'm like, it's all lit up at night, you know? So-
Right.
There's more going on
Now
now
it was
than at
thriving
certain
in the
points.
'90s.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you know,
That's
like,
what I've
I don't
heard.
know
Yeah,
that we'll
yeah,
ever
yeah.
hit that.
No,
it was
it's
bigger.
just-
The
yeah.
W was huge. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, inflation. You know what I'm saying? There's just a million things
Yeah.
that have changed, but like, and there were tons of things. Like, I mean, my parents claimed to me like you could go out and there'd be hundreds of people at multiple spots.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing,
Yeah.
but. Some of that's youth culture. Like Columbus doesn't really have.
Well, the Air Force guys don't go out at night anymore. Like the
Right.
pilots used to, even when I got here
Yeah.
20 years ago, you'd see pilots
Yeah,
all
It's
out.
yeah.
probably
I
a
agree
good thing.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
they
but
were
you know what I'm
wild.
saying?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
probably
yeah,
a good
yeah.
thing.
They were
at least for our nation.
I'm told they were
You know,
scooping
so-
up all the females too.
Oh yeah,
Because you meet way less
Wow.
girls that
Oh,
there's
dude.
way less girls that have hooked up hooked.
Yeah.
No
captured
question,
the
the
pilot.
pilots
Yeah, yeah.
were stealing all the,
See, like, when I
girls
when I
back
got
in the
here
day,
in
like,
2005, they were still out and about, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
this ain't cool, man.
Oh yeah.
yeah, it is different. You know,
It's a much different town even than when we were younger too.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is more. I get downtown was more like empty. I guess when we were kids, I feel like there's still stuff going on, but I remember there being more like empty spaces.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I mean,
Yeah, no,
I
there's
remember
so
when
many more
Rosenswig
businesses and
first
stuff,
opened.
yeah.
yeah.
When what first
The
opened?
Rosenswig, like even
Oh,
that
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
there
yeah,
when we
yeah.
were really young. You know,
Yeah. And we grew up downtown a lot, really.
Mhm.
You know, and
we went to DIM school,
Yeah.
which was on the W. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, our
Yeah.
Columbus
Basically,
school system
yeah.
has never been the same
Yeah,
since
yeah.
demonstration schools closed. I'm not saying that's the only reason, but it was a sad.
That
it
was
was
a
a
great-
great,
yeah,
great
great
for the W because you have you have somewhere you can put the student teachers. And it's a great
Yeah.
collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
I hate
Well, it's
that
like
there's
the
not
partnership.
stuff
Exactly,
like
it's
that
the same
anymore.
thing.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
exactly
the first
same.
one, I
Yeah,
guess. Yeah, in
They
the state of
had, you know,
Mississippi.
Yeah, no,
But it-
Columbus has a long list of.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you got the first public school like in the southeast,
Yeah, yeah,
Franklin. You
Yeah.
got the
Oh
first
my
women,
goodness.
first public women's college.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
the first governor school and like the third math and science school. I'm
Yeah.
like,
There's a real history.
and the first
Oh, yeah,
demonstration school like in the country, and I'm
Right.
like, this is like should be like a national archive of
Right.
education.
It should,
here.
man.
Well, it was
yeah,
basically a
I mean,
commercial
you have a
hub,
historic
right? I mean,
women's
yeah.
university, so like that education department should be thriving.
Oh, yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I'm
for
saying? I mean, I
sure,
know
for
their
sure,
nursing
for sure.
department's thriving.
It's
which is
it's the best in
awesome,
the
but-
states.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
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 but
yeah.
their education department should be just as successful as their nursing
Oh, yeah,
department,
yeah,
in
yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think
Like-
I think the DIM school offered a great.
Yeah.
That was a great thing.
Yeah.
Now I think are they doing stuff with Hunt now? I think the W
Yeah,
is
there's some
partnering
sort of
with
Are
Hunt.
they? Okay,
Yeah.
they need
Building
yeah,
any
they
type
need
of
more.
thing
Any
with that,
we're
yeah.
very pro. Like the W
Oh,
needs a
yeah.
strong relationship with the Columbus City
Yeah,
School
yeah, yeah.
District. 100%. Like
Yeah.
they will both, sync or
Yeah, yeah.
or
Well,
float
it's sort of
together,
like we're
you
talking
know?
about the
Yeah.
theater, like just the theater doing the outreach with the 100
No
kids they bring
doubt.
in for camp. I've seen it personally change 4 or 5 kids' lives.
100%.
Where they're
dude.
like, they weren't like hopeless or
Right,
but
right.
they were public school kids,
Yeah.
in poverty,
Right.
and they're like, I had no idea that this was possible, that I could do this.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it gives you confidence because, I mean, just like playing music, there's
Yeah.
always some aspect of look at me. But
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's what it's for. It takes
yeah,
courage
yeah.
to stand up and do what
Oh
you
yeah.
do.
Well, it'll take a true altruistic viewpoint to, help some of Columbus's systems because it's not like there's a lot of money to be made.
Right,
A lot
right.
of a lot of Columbus has no money.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say the majority of Columbus has no money. So, it's going to take an which we should. I'm very pro, which I'm a public school educator, but I'm very pro, education, public education,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
supporting that. And, it's a good philosophy. It's like a, good use of tax dollars. There's a lot worse things, so. And a lot of that is just, chickens coming home to roost. You see money leaving, right, going to the county and stuff. And hopefully stuff like what you're talking about will bring more money to the city.
Yeah,
The city
there's a lot.
has more.
We're seeing a lot of people from these factories. When a lot of professors from state are coming over here because there's
I can
like,
see
Because
that.
it's outrageous living stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Which is
and
crazy.
it's about to go up even more. So.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
dude, it sounds
and
like
so
that.
there's a lot. Yeah, but I want Columbus locals to rise too.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're put into positions, but you do that through helping the school system.
Yeah.
There's a lot because it's really different than when and I didn't even end up graduating from Columbus High, but I went demonstration hunt Lee Middle freshman year at Columbus High and it was good. I think my mom honestly kind of jumped the gun sending me to Heritage a little bit, but it's very different now, but a lot of that is just like lack of community support. There was a lot more community support when I was a kid.
We talked to. They tried to start a committee, get people to support the football team. And I'm like, are you trying to get us to put flags downtown? Or are you trying to get people to go to games?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, this is the first Mississippi town I've been to, or any town where nobody goes to. Nobody.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Right.
Yeah,
So
because
that is weird,
Mississippi.
right?
Dude, Mississippi high school football.
Even if they're like, well, they haven't been
Yeah.
good. I'm like, that's not the people
No,
went to
yeah.
Saints games for 30 years.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
sucked.
yeah.
But part of it was that again the sense of community. But
Yeah.
we were diving. I was trying to be frank and dive into the problem.
Right.
The parents afford to go. Do they
Yeah,
have money?
exactly.
They're like, well, it is $10. I'm like, to go to a public high school? Why?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, does it cost money to just turn the lights on or something? I'm like, there's no workers at the stadium that I could tell. And I'm like, what if we had a $1 hot dog and Coke night
Yeah, for
to
sure.
get kids?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how we'd have to support that? I'm like, I'll buy you 400 hot dogs.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, for
I get the
sure.
Cokes donated. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's part of the thing we've been talking about. And then try to get the Air Force. I think the one thing we're going to do this year is a military day,
Okay.
get 300 Air Force
Yeah,
people
yeah,
out
yeah.
just to see.
Right.
But it's tough.
I want Columbus High versus Starkville High at the Magnolia
Yeah,
Bowl.
that'd be
Make
cool,
it happen,
actually.
Columbus.
That would be
Bring
cool.
it to town. People will come out for that. I would
Yeah,
think.
dude, that
I
would
would
be
think that
cool,
would be bad.
dude.
Something,
That would be cool.
because that facility is cool. Obviously it's run down a little bit, but that's a cool
That's a
space.
cool,
Franklin and the Magnolia.
Yeah, we're
Bowl.
doing. There's a lot of work going on trying to peel the Magnolia Bowl off of Franklin because Franklin's it's a huge effort.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's
It's a big school too. That's a big school.
Well, it's shut down now. So,
Yeah.
but, the W and we've got some efforts at a state level to get them to back off a little on some of the historic
Oh,
requirements
yeah,
for buildings,
right,
and,
right,
and
right.
it's a production
It
Oh, I'm
is,
sure.
because
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
laws, they're not rules.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they're laws, and you
Right.
have to.
'Cause
Whereas,
it's the oldest.
Yeah, it's the oldest public
institute.
Yeah, so you don't want it torn down.
Exactly.
But, hey, can we keep the facade and tear off the inside?
Right.
Yeah,
well, you
yeah, for
mentioned
sure.
dueling hall. Something
Yeah,
like that
that'd
would
be cool,
But I don't
yeah.
know. That you have to have. That works in Fondren. But,
Yeah.
And
It is. It's a good location though. It's
Yeah,
right
it's a
close to
yeah.
downtown. It's walkable.
they've
Well-
kind of done some of that with Lee Middle.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Which
true,
I get.
actually.
That's where a lot of the Golden Triangle
Yeah,
Theater
that's
yeah,
stuff
right.
and
yeah,
that,
They're, based, they're
so-
actually running it now. So if you'd like to rent,
Okay,
if you'd like to rent the Lyceum at Lee,
Okay.
call Garrett at the
That's-
Lyceum or
That's
uh,
actually
Okay, that's
at
okay.
Golden Triangle Theater, and
That's
they have
cool.
apartments and stuff there. They
Right.
didn't
Right.
quite. The young gentleman who's doing it, he passed away early. Who was doing the project, Ruth,
Okay.
Steve Ruth. No, not Steve Ruth, but the Ruths, and so they didn't finish the end
Okay.
where the gym is, and it's
Right.
rough in
Is
there.
it?
But
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, that's the problem. Is every project is like $2 million.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We are very fortunate that we had the IMs here and the Guild Days
Right,
and other
right,
people
right.
who kept the Arts Council running
No doubt.
for long enough for it to succeed. Or,
Yeah,
or
for
again, Munson to keep Munson going
Yeah,
long
yeah,
enough
yeah.
so
Right.
that now you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do just have to weather the storm, to be honest.
Yeah,
Especially in a place
you
like
do.
Columbus, you have to basically build up hey, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm pretty much bought in. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and I sat in on one of the meetings that they had with for the amphitheater, and we're all they said it happens every town they go to, where
Yeah.
they're like, well, it's local, but local people, there's nowhere to park. This is stupid.
Right, yeah.
He's like, well, the average walk is 0.8 miles for the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater.
Yeah.
He's like, other than the Brandon Amphitheater, all the next 6 closest amphitheaters, we have a better parking situation
Yeah,
than
I'm
do.
sure.
Right.
Like parking at the soccer complex and walking there is better than most.
Oh, yeah.
And they're
yeah,
like,
for sure.
think of when you go to concerts and how far you have to walk. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh.
Oh,
And-
yeah,
but we
yeah,
see
yeah.
it and we're like, oh, this is freaking
I
awful.
don't
Yeah,
think
exactly.
it's a parking. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what that
no.
whole thing is.
I don't
That's,
know.
like
It was-
that's been
Well,
talked about.
floods,
just-
right? I don't
Well,
know.
they're
to
gonna
me,
fin-
it's just a Facebook.
Yeah, they're
topic
finishing
now.
it
Yeah,
now,
they're gonna
right?
finish
They're
it, yeah.
finishing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to
What,
take
is there a
almost a
date?
year. It's going to
Okay,
take
How
almost a
much
year.
money
Okay.
is involved? A lot.
The last stage of it, I think it's $3 million or something like that. So.
Okay.
But they just, they built it before they had all the money. So, and what
Right,
happened is
right,
so
right,
it's
yeah.
the Terry Brown Amphitheater, but Terry Brown, who's our state senator, he passed away.
Right.
Okay.
And like him and Jeff Smith were both in office. Well, he passed away, and then 2 years later, Jeff Smith got kicked out of office. Well, they were
Okay.
they were the two of the
Two
most
people who
tenured
died.
people down there.
That makes
So they were just
sense.
like, oh, we'll get the money.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
they were.
yeah.
They're just every few years like, oh, we need $3 million. We
Yeah,
need $3 million. We
exactly.
need
That
and
actually
then they
makes
went away,
sense.
and they were like,
Okay.
and then we looked like idiots because like.
We have
They
some
could have.
finished,
I don't know if they could have gotten 15 million one day, but they were like, "Well, we'll get five, and then get the last 5, and then all of a
Right.
sudden he dies out of nowhere, and then
Okay,
They're
that
gonna-
actually does make that's
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah,
that
yeah,
seems
yeah.
like a situation Columbus would get itself into.
Yeah.
We're
like,
good at that.
sadly. Yeah, yeah.
I think that's why I'm still here after New
Yeah.
Orleans. It's very
It's
similar.
fascinating.
There's some
Yeah,
really
yeah.
stories where you're just like, what we doing?
Oh,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
reminds me of Twin Peaks sometimes.
Oh, yeah, for
Just
sure,
ab-
for sure.
Absurdity, but funny.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
harmless-ish, but,
Yeah.
funny. Like
Yeah.
hijinks.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what the last mayor Keith Gaskin would say about me, where I said, I'm like, crime's not that bad, and like
Yeah.
potholes aren't that bad. He's like, you grew up in New Orleans in that late '80s, like the worst time ever,
Yeah.
Right.
and like you go to New Orleans and there's potholes. There's potholes
yeah,
Still,
from when I was a
yeah,
kid.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
crime is bad in Columbus.
it's just
but
we
I
don't
mean,
we don't
you
see
know, that's-
we just don't see that much crossover. You live near
Yeah,
military.
yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah.
we hear a gunshot every once in a while, but like
Yeah.
nobody's breaking in our houses. Like
Yeah.
it's just I mean, part of the perception of it is there's a loud vocal minority, and there are the shootings this year. That sucks.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, there. This stuff affects every community in the United States. So
Right, that's how I
I just
feel.
think now I think Columbus gets a bad rap because of I mean it's a poor town.
Yeah.
So there's there's classism. Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In
Yeah,
the
there's
United States.
racism. There's-
Yeah,
yeah,
and,
there's-
and right. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was going to
well,
say. Yeah, so
my
you're getting double
my kids went
whammy.
to my kids went to Heritage too. It's called
Right.
Heritage for a reason.
Yeah.
Right.
And there are
Right.
two of them went to MSMS. So
Right,
I-
right.
I-
Yeah. No, I get, but so I think that's a lot. I don't know. I've never felt unsafe
I
in
don't
Columbus,
know, yeah.
Mississippi. I've never in my life. But I mean, I understand that some people do. But there's a million places you would feel unsafe. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I always tell people when they're doing a tour of the town, they're like, "Well, I've heard that." I'm like, "Listen, I can't get you shot if I tried in,
Yeah.
in Starkville or Columbus.
Yeah.
I can't get your car stolen."
Yeah.
But I said it's 12 o'clock now. It's 4.5 hours to New Orleans. You want to be dead by 5. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, for real, though.
I was like, I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
get your
man.
car stolen in New
Right,
Orleans.
exactly.
Like there's places you can look up online. Like say, I want to get my car stolen in New Orleans. There's maps.
Wow.
Like drop them here, and the guys literally are going, "Oh, cool, thanks."
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
can
just leave
see
your
that.
car there in
Yeah,
case you need
yeah.
advice on that.
Right,
call me.
right.
Yeah.
That's funny to think.
But I've never had anything happen to me. I mean, some friends have left car doors unlocked.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, that's just that
Every
happens.
May
Like,
in downtown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the kids get out of high school and they just go rummage
Probably
through.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But
I had one of my neighbors who left he didn't have a washer and dryer in his house, and he had like $10 worth of quarters he puts in his car, and they stole it. And then the next week they stole it again, and he told me, he's like, "Man, it sucks. It's like 3 weeks in a row they took my money." I'm like, "You're just at ATM. Like, lock your car."
Yeah, why? Yeah,
why would
dude,
you?
like,
I got mad at him. I'm like, "That's why they're coming to our neighborhood."
Yeah, for real. I mean, yeah.
They're just wishing well. Of
Yeah,
money
right.
and doing it.
They might think he left it for
Yeah.
them. That's funny to think.
Well,
That's-
very little of that has to do with music, but from
Right, but, you know.
Well, we love Columbus.
Yeah,
Almost
yeah.
more than music, man.
Yeah, to be honest,
Honestly.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, if people want to support y'all, buy a stream or buy an album, how can they track you down?
You can look us up on Instagram, Hartleroad Band, Spotify, or Bandcamp.
And maybe mention some of the new releases because he's been putting out other bands.
Oh, okay,
from
yeah.
Mississippi,
So,
like-
I put out White Hawk self-titled cassette. You can get that on Bandcamp. And then Puppeteer Ava, and that CD is going to come out of that in August. So, trying to support Puppeteer
local
Ava is a young artist from the area. Just trying to give people more,
Where are they
resources. They're from Columbus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Max hosts house shows too, so it's all, we've always thought of ourselves, I guess, as offering a venue for people to do like what we would have wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Because sometimes, it's actually, things have changed so much. We were talking about the loft earlier. That stuff really doesn't go on as much anymore in general.
Like wildness.
Yeah, which is good. That's a positive thing for
Yeah.
people's health. But, you still need spaces to do stuff. So, always, those Starkville kids, like you mentioned, the DIY kids, there's tons of bands from Starkville right now that are great bands, great kids, just great people, And we try to do that, try to keep the spirit alive in general, positive,
Well, good. Well, we'll end it on a high note, man. I appreciate
sure.
y'all coming, and
Thanks.
we're gonna get together soon enough, and I'll get Josh to hook you up, send me some links or something. And when we do this,
sure.
I'll put them right here
perfect.
on the video.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, guys.
cool.
Thanks a bunch.
Thank you, man.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. My name is Colin Krieger, and my day job is real estate. If you're looking to buy or sell, I'd love to talk to you. Or if you just want to sit and talk real estate in a no pressure situation, I'd love to help you. I work with RE/MAX Partners in Starkville, Columbus, and West Point, Mississippi. I can help you find an agent anywhere in Mississippi or anywhere in the country. Just reach out to our office at 662-327-7705 or find me anywhere when you type in 662-329-SOLD.